Hello, viewers. I'm SB.
And I'm Amabel.
Did you forget for a second? Was that what that hesitation was? And welcome back to Amabel. I remember her name. Goes to Forex School, where I just wanted to start this episode by taking a second to admire the architecture. Look at how sick our coral building structures look. Every faction has their own appearance for their buildings and their districts and stuff, and I think that's really rad.
Yeah.
Also, look at how cool the dust eclipsed temple ruins are, where you can see the whole construction, the original construction of the temple, made out of the pieces in the glowing light. Like this is so neat.
Yeah, I know we talked a lot in the previous course. I don't know what we're calling them. Session.
Right.
About the presentation, like the presentational skill on display with the Civ game, but I'm really digging this presentation. Like this slaps. It slaps me across my face.
Okay, well.
Is that how the kids use the word slaps?
Good? I don't
Am
think
doing that right.
I don't think that's how the kids do it now.
It slaps me until there is a bruise.
Sweetie. All right, so we have a plan here. We are currently doing the research that is necessary for our faction quest. We have some research structures in the queue. We could accelerate some of them with dust, but we're not going to for reasons that I hope will become clear very soon. And also, we have assembled the murderous forces necessary to put down these pirates. How dare they? My guess is we're not going to have to move here. I think they're going to come to me.
Yeah, you think so?
Yeah, they're incredibly aggressive. The neutral vessels. Okay, well, maybe not. The neutral vessels don't display a lot of AI generally, is what I was about to say. It's usually just like open aggression. But apparently this one's the exception. All right, so we got that battle. One thing that I like to do, once you've declared a battle, it locks all of the tiles within the battle zone. So I like to start, get the battle locked in and then go do all the other stuff I wanted to do for my turn and come back. Nothing's going to happen over there until both sides agree that it's time for the fight to start. So when you search a temple ruin that is in eclipse mode, you perform an eclipse search. The strange dust activity in the temple subsides as you explore the ruins, but the last faint glimmers lead your troops to some long-lost treasure. Generally speaking, eclipse searches reward a large amount of dust. Sometimes you get some other cool stuff, but usually it's just like a large amount of dust. And then you can still do the normal ruins search, which sadly did not find anything. We also purchased a unit over here so that we could get some more ruin searching done, because they really do give large amounts of money. So your plan was, then you're sailing down here to get that one next. Okay. So you can see that this guy, if he searches two temples that we wouldn't have gotten otherwise, that's already made us more dust than we paid to rush his construction.
Okay.
Which is why I was so cavalier about doing that. All right, let's have at this battle. So you can let the AI resolve battles. You don't always have to play them all manually. I am leery of doing that in this case because I'm worried that the AI will kill our mastermind. We have to play a little cautiously with the transport vessel. So the boarding vessel has very high initiative, and it's going to get to go first. When it goes first, it's going to move 3 spaces. So I'm going to put all of our ships over here. That's not where I wanted you. I'm gonna group us up nice and tight so we get maximum. Everybody's giving everybody else morale. We want this guy to move right into here. these tiles with the dust blizzards on them and the fog provide a little bit of ranged cover, and obviously I would love it if he was out in the open. So he'll probably just run right at us. And then our hero will fail to do any meaningful damage, and then our transport will fail to do any meaningful damage, and then the sub will show up and solve the problem.
Wow.
Indeed.
So,
it
so
turns
it
out
seem...
it turns out missiles. Missiles are the solution. You return with evidence of the wreck of the fortress. Strangely, the deaths do not seem to bother them. It was not knowing that caused the deepest anguish. Sad but appreciative, they swear loyalty, so we've got control of that fortress now. And also, we did capture the indicated fortress held by another empire in Wervelin, which has given us control of something, or... Oh no, that was a quest we were given by the ruins. So we got some gold now, which is interesting. Gold is a luxury that reduces what we're paying for city upkeep. I don't know if I care enough to fire that. It might be wise to fire the spices, just, extra growth. But I'm a little hesitant because of winter. Winter's going to start sometime in the next 10 turns. These boosters last 10 turns. This will give us plus 50% food, but during the winter, our flat food is reduced, right? We lose a food off of every food tile, which means that the effectiveness of the spices is lowered. So I kind of want to save them for a period when we can get all 10 turns at full blast, basically. And right now, none of our cities are at an approval level where 5 extra approval will push them up a productiveness tier or anything. Because, as you can see, as we expand our empire, we start getting disapproval from having more cities and having more districts within the same city and stuff. And this is very common in 4X games that try to model approval in this way.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so y'all wanted 8 wine. I mean, I'm wondering if we should just take this fortress by force.
That seems mean.
Yeah. Yeah, I hear you. I mean, the thing is, we have important stuff to be doing.
Yeah.
It is only 2 tiles out of our way. But 2 tiles out of our way is 4 tiles out of our way, right? Because of the return trip. I'm gonna leave it for the moment. It's not a huge threat to anything. And we are going to head back down this way. So what's really important now is sealing up these ocean regions. Right now, we control 2 unguarded settlements in neutral territory. Because the way the Cold War rules work, anybody could just come along and attack those and take them away. If we capture all of the fortresses in an ocean region, the whole ocean region becomes ours. Our border goes around it. And at that point, other players have to declare formal war in order to attack stuff within.
Okay.
So right now, these are extremely at risk. But if we can get the whole region, it gives it a little bit of solidity. So that's why I am so concerned about that. Right. You want the hero and the transport ship. Yeah, okay. Well, we'll get down here. We'll take care of this. We're going to try to sew up these 2 ocean regions as quickly as possible. So you had some things you were saying, and I interrupted you with game.
Oh, well, what I think I was going to say most recently is that so the naval battle does not really function much differently than a land battle.
No, not really. We found a weird shield in here.
Well, that's neat. I find that really fascinating.
It's definitely like a simplification, right?
Yeah.
All right, so we've picked up that conflux, and this army is now really fast, but they're still also really inland. I guess they'll make it over here in 2. Yeah, maybe I made the wrong move with this army. They should be headed that way. It's going to be too late now. I'm not expecting this eclipse to be very long. But I would love it if it did last at least one more turn. That would be very convenient for us. I'm trying to take the path that leads us in sort of like the most defensive route in case anything was headed toward any of our fortresses. Right now, these fortresses are hardly even doing anything for us, but they have value because controlling the entire ocean region has value. So we are 1 turn off of finishing our construction here in the capital, and I would love to be able to start making sea monsters next turn, so I'm just going to bump a couple people over to science to ensure that that research finishes.
Okay.
You can get a fair amount of value out of like micromanaging your citizens in that way in this game, and I think that's the thing that some people might find to be a little bit fiddly. Ah, the eclipse ended. That's a shame. We were 1 turn away from getting another ruin search there, and also that means we no longer have 9 movement on the water. Fortunately, what we do have is a little bit of turbulence here, so we can ride through that. Now, this fortress is the one that wanted us to wait until turn 20 to get control. I might just attack them. Okay, so we have researched the Vor unit technology. Morgar breathes slowly. Panic is over, but still vulnerable. There is no hope as long as there are others, if the others are strong. So their paranoia that they will be treated again the way they were treated before because of the nature of their power has led them to just be fully exterminationists.
That part's not great.
That part's not great. Also, I'm noticing we're at 20 titanium and 19 glass steel right now. So actually, as we do want Alchemist Furnace eventually, but it's no longer really like a high priority. I'm going to bump it back in the queue here. We're going to pick up Mercenary Market, access to the ability to hire heroes, because we're going to want some heroes. And we made a fair amount of money during the eclipse. We're 6 of 9 technologies here, so we'll get these 2 and then something. Yeah, all right, let's not stress about it too much right now. We don't have a lot of luxuries in our territory right now, so we might skip the early luxury extraction technology. We'll see. All right, next step, to jail the jailers. Morgar is not in chains, but is not free. Free means unchallenged. Free means unthreatened. They have learned a carceral mindset from their jailers here. Freedom costs, must grow, be stronger, be crueler. Freedom is having no equals, having no threats. The fortresses threaten, built by the jailers, smelling of the jailers, run by the jailers' beasts. Fortresses must be taken, controlled, conquered, mastered. Fortresses can never be trusted. Start there. Make the fortresses grovel. Never trust the fortresses, the smell of the jailers. What other creations of the jailers might be lurking within them? Morgar rises from the waters, spies the fortresses, opens the doors, climbs the walls. Silent, merciless, cold, relentless. Sees the terror in the eyes of the jailers' beasts. Morgar is content. Alright, the Morgar must find peace their own way, by dominating others. Okay, so we're going to have to create 2 Vors within the Empire. And when we do so, we will learn the main Maritime Academy. We'll learn a special building that makes our naval units higher level when we recruit them. So right now, I feel like just produce 1 Vor in each of the cities. Oh, that is interesting. Yeah, the museum's available, but also we're not really very good at building. If I were to refocus this city on population and then tell it to build a vor, it would take 7 turns to get that done. We could get it down to 5 turns by focusing the population on industry. There's a long-term trade-off to be made playing this way, though, right? Like, you know, it would be nice to be able to grow our population more effectively. How many people, if I put all y'all on population, we get the birth next turn, and then we can retune. All right, I'm gonna leave everybody here on industry for 1 turn. We're gonna retune our population when Menyor gains a point of population next turn. You guys, I guess I don't know what I want to do with you. I don't know if we talked to these people. Let's have a quick chat with these people. Easy quest, easy life. The Sisters of Mercy would like 8 die. I don't know that we care about that. We don't have the die to give them, but if we did, I'm not sure I would. And you can see we've started to spawn neutral armies already, so we have to be a little bit more careful because they absolutely will attack our masterminds. A general rule of thumb that does not apply 100% of the time, I have seen exceptions, but a general rule of thumb is that roaming armies spawned by neutral villages will only fight with things that are within that village's region.
Okay.
So I'm going to go ahead and leave our dude right here, and I think we'll probably be okay. And you probably want to just get back in the water. I mean, we have... Yeah, hold on. We have stuff that is worth interacting with back up by the city. We never did search this ruin. We're going to have to figure something out with the Silix. The quest they gave us required us to produce 12 influence per turn for 5 turns, and that's just, it's a lot. We may want to capture that village in a different way. All right, am I just going to attack here? The thing is, it's not a totally trivial battle. There are 2 units here. They're both boarding vessels. And 2 boarding vessels might actually be able to take us. Like, we can surprise blow 1 up, but they do a fair amount of damage. Well, I guess Iraku has 200 health. Yeah, you know what? Iraku can tank a boarding vessel for a while. Let's do it. Let's go for it. Once again, we're going to do this manually because I'm a little nervous about the safety of our mastermind, who is probably not contributing a huge amount to the battle and maybe could have just been left at home. Once again, we will sit in the morale formation. Ooh, except I don't want to do it right here. This boarding vessel is close enough to actually attack me if we do it that way. Interestingly, the AI has chosen not to start their units on top of each other, which is probably an error here. Just giving up a point of morale for no reason. Hey, look, we actually did a little bit of damage. And then the sub showed up, and... Oh, I have the sub targeting the wrong enemy. Well, you know what? Actually, that's kind of all right. That's going to work out. You can see when submerged, the sub has a massive defense bonus. You know, it's very difficult to fight a submarine when it's underwater. And then when it attacks, it will emerge and become vulnerable. So actually having it end the turn underwater was probably a good idea, even if it wasn't actually the plan.
Yeah, subs are hard to deal with unless you get the limpet fish technology.
Uh-oh, that thing survived. Unfortunately, an enemy ship that is at 2 HP is still at full combat capacity. Everybody focus, but like, yeah, they're going to kill this mastermind. Oh, he survived the first shot. Did not survive the second. But then the storm killed the boarding vessel. All right, well, that gives us control, but I'm bummed out to have lost the mastermind. I should have split the mastermind off. He had no business in that battle. That's on me. Okay, so we now control all of the fortresses in Wervelin, so you can see the whole region has become ours. Your empire now includes both its vast, dangerous expanses and its enviable treasures. Controlling all the fortresses of an ocean increases the resources generated by facilities, and dust and science incomes from trade routes crossing that ocean. Oh, and the vision range of the fortresses. So yeah, any facility that is producing something here, like this titanium facility, produces 50% more of it if you own the ocean.
Okay.
And we can leave these undefended, and like they'll still be trivial for Red to take if Red wants to take them, but Red would have to declare formal war on us to do so. We're going to take another point of Ancient Mariner here on our hero for all of the combat stats. This one gives 50 attack, so we're much more likely now to generate damage and a half on the combat table. It's true, we did not take their quest seriously. I didn't even consider it. I have no respect. Okay, yeah, let's see how things work out there. Most of the facilities in this ocean are not even revealed yet. We don't know what these fortresses make, but we're just trusting that it's going to be cool. And it's going to be wintertime, like any moment now. All right, thanks to the scientific progress of another empire, somebody else entered Era 2, and so all of the legendary deeds associated with Era 2 have become available, and also a science stockpile facility was revealed somewhere. None of the rest of our facilities opened up, so they weren't Era 2 stuff. Yeah, we still have a lot of closed things. Okay, well, this is handled, so part of me wants to explore the rest of the ocean that we've just conquered, but I think we should probably try to seal this one up first. And you can see the fortresses are starting to produce vessels as well.
Okay.
I'm not going to stress too much about this. There's a version of this where, like, in an attempt to safeguard our things, I cat's paw this thing. I use our mind control to take over this boat.
Mm-hmm.
And that would prevent it from attacking here. What I would do with it is I would cat's paw it, and then I would immediately attack this fortress with it. So that it would just, we would just burn it to soften up the fortress for our actual attack.
Now, is that the fortress that wants to see a hero?
It is.
So, I mean, it could be they just want to see a hero.
It could be they just want to talk to one of our heroes. This action would not be about destroying the fortress. It would be about destroying this vessel.
Okay.
Because this vessel would lose that battle.
And they wouldn't know that you did it?
I mean, it doesn't work like that.
Okay.
The fortress doesn't know anything. It's a building.
Okay.
I actually am going to do... The more I think about it, like... The reason to not do that in this circumstance would be to try to maintain enough influence for, like, a better Empire plan or something, because we are coming up on Empire plan time. But we're actually producing a lot of influence because of all the fortresses we've gathered, so we're still going to have enough for a decent plan. I think I am just gonna cat's paw this and turn it around and attack immediately. We're not even going to play this out. Oh, it is interesting. This is a level 2 boarding vessel versus the level 1s from here. So it actually has better combat stats. I'm just going to let it auto-resolve. But it's actually not impossible that it could have won that with some good dice rolls. And what that does, first of all, is it means I don't have to fight the level 2 boarding vessel. And secondly, it means it won't uncapture this.
Yeah.
All right, so you're headed back home because somebody's got to search this ruin. Always faster to move along the coast if we can. Well, it's always faster to move along the ocean if we can. While this neutral army is distracted, I'm going to run in here, search this, and then plan to get the hell out of here. Another 40 dust. We'll just quickly get in the water. Okay, so you were saying something as we were finishing the last session, you were talking to me about how much you like this, how
Yeah.
much this is sort of like appealing to you in some ways that Civ didn't. Do you have? Do you want to elaborate on that at all?
First of all, there's a kind of freshness to it, and a way everything feels like it, as a piece of design, it doesn't feel like it's been kludged together, built on decades of previous games. I mean, it is in conversation with a genre with games, but it's not like there's not legacy elements. First of all. Secondly, I do like the extreme asymmetry, and I think its fantasy military components are a lot more engaging than the stuff I saw in Civ. And coming from a background where a huge chunk of my work as a designer has been in like battle and operational warfare games.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of stuff that I can kind of crunch onto that I find very interesting. And the writing's really strong, presentation strong. We got fish people.
We
Like
got fish people. Yeah.
yeah.
Most 4X games do not. So, okay, let's talk about winter here. So, winter has started. In winter, life and movement are more difficult. This is potentially going to be a long winter. You can see down here, it's going to last 1 to 19 turns. If this is a 19-turn winter, that's going to be very challenging for us dust-wise, because you lose a food and a dust. Any tile that produces food produces one less. Any tile that produces dust produces one less for the duration of the winter. Also, there's another important thing that I don't think we had time for last time that we should mention now. These pearls. When winter begins, on tiles all over Ariga, particularly on anomalies, but not just on anomalies, you'll see these like pearls spawn. Units can run around and grab the pearls, and they're used for some important winter-related purposes that we will talk about as we build into them. But for right now, it's just a thing to be aware of. So you can see this larger pearl here represents 3 pearls. The little one to the north of us is just a single pearl on a tile. I was planning to use that route to get into the water and explore up here anyway, so we are going to be grabbing that one. But what I would really like is if we could gather 10 pearls before the winter ends. There's another 3 over here. All right, we'll keep an eye on it. But yeah, but the most important thing is food tiles are producing less food, dust tiles are producing less dust, and all of our units move slower. Is the thing to remember the most important thing to remember during winter.
Okay.
This makes it kind of an interesting time to do like war and stuff, because defenders move more slowly, but so do attackers, you know? These people just wanted some titanium, and they'll give us the design for the boarding vessel if we give it to them. I am down to just resolve this problem through parlay. There you go. There's the titanium.
So I suppose I should ask. So we're doing a lot of work controlling these seas, but we do have neighbors on land at least. And I know we don't really have units that are good at fighting. So a big part, as with this faction especially, is getting those kind of minor factions aligned. How are we doing on that?
We're doing okay. So this is the Empire plan that I wanted. This is the only thing that I really. It's possible that it would have been worth it to save up so that we could also key in a little dust focus for our citizens, but I'm not too stressed about that, and we have other things we want to use our influence for. But missing out on the plus 20% science, I feel like is such a huge loss. You always want to try to budget for that at the very least. So with 38 influence left, we do have the influence necessary to assimilate a minor faction. This costs 30 influence. It gives you the ability to build their combat unit, and it gives you some assimilation effect based on what they are. that always scales in some way with the number of their villages that you own. So you can see here, the Saratan, we have 3 of their villages pacified, so we could get plus 5% defense per village on all of our military units. The Saratan are okay, and that's an okay bonus. We do have a Silix village up here in this region, but I'm wondering if we maybe want to try to find another place to take over before we commit to an assimilation. They can of course be they can be undone, but it is costly. You know, we can favor another group over them, but yeah, I would prefer to pay the costs as few times as possible. So we might just need to find another region that has some good pacifiable folks in it. After we finish these Vors, it may be time to build more settlers. And then over here, we are in position to seal up this ocean. What did you want? Okay, let's try it. We're just going to talk to them, and if they spawn the fire ships, then I guess we'll see what happens. Iraku having 84 attack now has given me a lot more confidence. Okay, no ambush. They gave us 10 blood crystal. Return to the listening post when you're ready to give them 50 dust. They'll give us 40 science straight up and control the fortress. All right, I'll take it. You know, they could have mentioned that the welcome dinner was not free. 50 dust. The atmosphere around the table is tense, and you can't help looking back over your shoulder from time to time, just in case. However, the meal is good, and the Fomorians, impressed by your wealth, say they prefer to ally with you and take part in your naval conquest. Okay, I had that go the ambush route so many times that for a long time I didn't even realize there was another way it could happen. So if I'm a little jumpy about that quest, that's why.
Okay.
Because I am always expecting to be ambushed, which I guess makes it not much of an ambush. You know what? We didn't talk to this faction, I'm pretty sure. To pacify the Hernas and Rages, prove that you are not merely a belligerent warmonger. Oh, they've given us the land version of that quest that fortress gave us. That's a shame, because we just did an empire plan, so we won't be able to do this until turn 40. Which is to say, that is not how we will be pacifying these Hernas. They just made everybody's life more difficult. Ooh. That's 10 pearls right there. Look at that. I'm so much a sucker for, like, the fantasy imagery and stuff. Like, I just like a thing that looks weird. I'm debating veering off of my settlement plan, or veering off my exploration plans for 10 pearls. It's a little annoying to grab stuff on land, obviously.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I want 10 pearls pretty badly. Okay, so one of the fortresses over here produced a boarding vessel before we pacified them. I reckon we are going to have to deal with that. And unfortunately, winter starting and draining our bank, and then this 50 dust quest have pulled us out of hero buying range right as we got the tech that allows us to shop for heroes. So that's annoying. Ooh, move. Okay, so we can see... Oh, actually, there's a border there. So this is a tiny little ocean region unto itself. So we can take control of that very easily, and then there's another fortress to meet on this side. We can just get in the water off the north coast. So a Harmonite army has been spawned by the Silix village. It would be 42 influence to mind control them. That is harsh. I'm kind of thinking of like doing the same thing here though, just attacking the village, just to mostly to despawn this army.
Okay.
I don't know if I want to do that. I think we'll just evade them for the moment. That's a lot of it's a lot of influence. All right, y'all come over here and search. Find me a couple hundred dust. Okay, 30 is not exactly what I was asking for.
That's a smaller number
Can you believe the insubordination?
of these ruins.
All right, I'm going to mash the execute your orders button here so that our units get in the water and get away from the Silix. Although there's a bunch of boarding vessels. We're not actually safer in the water. Okay, and we have produced our sea units. So we have been rewarded with the main Maritime Academy technology, allowing us to build this building. And we are now to capture the localized fortress in Balther or Balther. There are two fortresses. They are both in Balther. And Balther is the name of this ocean region out here, so we're ahead of the game. We're going to get 15 titanium at the beginning of next turn when it checks to see if we've done the quest yet. So, speaking of these two units we created, we didn't actually look at the army design here, and we probably should. So this is a Vor. This is what those guys look like.
Oh, they're cutie.
They're pretty rad. They have a couple of different equipable weapons. We have them equipped with the acid spray, which has some attack and some damage bonus, and lowers the defense of enemies and attacks in sort of an arc. Like they hit the enemy directly in front of them and also any enemies to the left and right of that. Which is pretty cool. You can also just give them powerful biting jaws, which make them particularly good at collapsing submarines. They don't have anything in their other slots, but that's fine. We just wanted to produce them as cheaply as possible. And I think we are just going to have them run together here and merge up. You can see we are losing a lot of dust per turn right now, running all of these separate armies. A little bit of merging is real good for our finances. All right, and what are we doing in the cities now that we have finished that stuff? Well, we just picked up an awful lot of pearls. We also have access to the industrial megapole. Let's talk about this. So, somebody got into Era 2. As soon as anyone enters Era 2, it turns on all these legendary deeds. We're all in active competition now. So for Master of Markets, whoever is the first to get a city's total trade route income up to 20 dust will get a bonus to their trade routes. Whoever defeats at least 3 armies led by a hero will get the Eye of the Farthinker, an item that can be equipped on their units to give them an extra counterattack each turn in combat. It's very powerful, but it's also extremely expensive. 5 glass steel and 5 titanium per unit that you want to put it on. And then the legendary building of this era is the Industrial Megapole, which gives plus 25 industry per level of the megapole and lowers the cost of districts in that city. It costs a lot of titanium and glass steel, and a lot of people on turn 20 won't have 15 of both. But because of our various shenanigans, we're in a really good position to build this. The bad news is we're not in a very good position to build it like actual industry-wise, because it does cost 1,000 total industry.
Okay.
Our cities are outputting 30 per turn. So it might be a little bit unrealistic to go for it. But I am thinking about it. Like if we devoted everybody to this, it would be 22 turns. I probably shouldn't spend 22 turns on that. But I want to. It is very powerful, right? The whole city's outputting 46 total industry. So this building alone producing 25 or 50 once you've leveled it up is a big deal. And once you have it built, it lowers district costs in that city, so that makes it easier to level it up.
And that sounds like a pretty sweet deal.
And nobody else in the world will really be in position to challenge us on it right now.
And would they be in position to challenge us on it before we finish it?
Yeah, it's a great question. So here in this city, we are really like, we're pretty incentivized to just keep focusing population. We can build up more pop pretty quickly. Sorry that I'm hesitating here. All right, what are we going to build in the capital? I don't think we're going to try to build this in the capital, certainly. We also have the other legendary building. Has anybody started construction on that? No, we are still rank 1 of 6. See, that's interesting. How long would it take Forani to build that, or Manure rather, to build that? If I put everybody back on industry, that would be 11 turns. You know, this we could probably get done. Nobody's started it yet, and it would only take 10 turns. If we put it down right here, it'll extend our reach over another anomaly, that weird botanical garden.
Okay.
But also, we do want to build a dock here, and then we want to level the dock up. So I'm wondering if it makes more sense to build it here. Well, it's a little bit worse resources in the immediate future, but once the dock gets built, it'll be very powerful. I'm gonna do this. We're gonna lean in on that dock because we're about to. The docks are a level 2. They're an era 2 research, so we're about to be able to learn how to build those, and they are pretty important. We can continue searching. Okay, as long as we continue searching new ruins, as long as we don't run out of new areas to expand into and plunder, we'll never run out of money. It's the classic gambit.
Yep.
And I am going to go ahead and build a settler. Building a settler zeroes out our food, like we've talked about before. But because of winter, our food was all fucked up anyway. So we're losing less food by building the settler now than we would during the summer. Apologies if it seems like I'm going really slowly. I'm trying to make sure that I'm like really explaining all of my...
You're doing fine.
Okay.
I don't think you're going slowly at all. Besides, you have to get to 3 episodes some way.
So the song that you just heard was the "You Entered a New Era, Congratulations" song, because we received a technology for free from one of the fortresses. We have moved up into the next era all of a sudden. Yep, and we did in fact capture the fortress. Morgar does not find peace in victory. So many fortresses, whispers of so many empires, and so much danger. Morgar must be the strongest, most dangerous, most feared. That is freedom. Morgar has a city, many mines, food, shelter, but feels the gnawing of fear, the hatred that lies outside. The jailer's remnants are everywhere in the sea and on the land. The jailer's dupes and tools, like those in the fortresses that remain on the oceans. Morgar looks down, sees the darkness it came from, and feels the fear. Things lurk down there, remnants of prisons and hatred and memories of terror. But Morgar must face fear to be free of fear. Will dive, hunt, and find answers. Might also find madness, but must face the terrors in its minds also, to truly be free. So, capture all the fortresses in the ocean Wervelin and control that ocean for 10 turns. That's the name of the... Yep. Once again, we're out here. We're ahead of it. We're on top of things. The game is like, hey, you have enough resources for some boosters. Should you fire those? And the answer is no, not yet. I know what I got. I know what we're doing. All right, so we got here a level 2 boarding vessel, but also we have considerably better combat ships than we had last time we fought one of these. So we're just going to bait this thing forward. Start everybody on top of each other for the bonus morale. And this should be pretty straightforward. He's going to sail to here. We will shoot for better damage this time. There you go.
Yeah.
A diversity of tactics is important. Somebody's got to shoot him with missiles. Somebody's got to spray him with acids, you know. Our Vor can grab some pearls on the way up to us. Speaking of grabbing pearls... Okay, this is just a little ocean region a little island region over here. That's neat. Oh, hey, another player. And blue and red are adjacent to each other. Oh, hey. Ah, okay. Red is Broken Lords. These are stalwarts. Okay, that's a little... the Broken Lords are a bit of a militaristic faction. Something to be wary of. We may as well parlay with this fortress here. Do you want to give me an easy quest? Kind of. As you arrive at the fortress, you interrupt an unusual ritual. The inhabitants are drinking and singing, celebrating their good fortune as they sit astride ancient sea trunks and chests. Sadly, they have run low on wine, and would be happy to invite you into their society if you acquire some. So we have to activate 2 wine boosters. We don't give them the wine, we get drunk ourselves. But I guess we party with them, is what we do. We'll get control of the fortress, and we'll also get a part for our ships. That auto heal capacity does exactly what you would expect it does. Just restores some health every turn. That's pretty cool. That's a pretty powerful thing. It would be neat to have. Alright, so we finished our Alchemist Furnace, and yeah, now we've opened up Era 2. And this gives us access to some interesting things. The Alchemy Workshop is the next level of science building. You can see it's quite a lot of science, 15 flat plus 20%. It does cost titanium. And it's possible at this point in the game that you still won't like have a source of all of your strategics. Like the titanium cost is not a trivial thing. We're in really great shape for it though. I think what we're going to go for first, though, is the cargo docks. So each city can build 1 cargo dock. It goes in a coastal water tile, and you can see it itself is a pretty good industry production tile. When leveled up, it produces twice as much industry. It's just generally, it improves the output of all of your sea or lake tiles quite considerably. And since we're very incentivized to build along the coast as it is, this just plays really well with our whole strategy. So we're going to prioritize that. We're going to prioritize building those and hopefully actually get this done. The minor faction has jumped in the water over here, which is weird. If the Harmonites sail around the coast a little bit, I will absolutely snap them up in their transport ships. And again, we're just waiting for winter to end before we fire the spices. Like that, sure, yeah, like that. Okay, they got out of the water. So winter has subsided. It will be 10 to 30 turns before the next one. What is the... No. Absolutely not. No boarding vessels in my sea. We're going to get out of the water here real quick and parlay with this minor faction. You've encountered a tribe, the Magte, who wish to live in peace. There is only one way to do this on a world like Auriga. Patrol their region with troops to drive out enemy armies. So the word enemy in this indication, or in this circumstance, means roaming armies from minor factions and other players' armies. I can't do anything about the armies of the Magte themselves, but hopefully they don't mean that. And notice we are very good at moving along rivers.
That makes sense.
Inland movement is a huge problem unless it's along a river. So this region's not too bad. There's a lot of ruins. This region has a nice place for a... Well, no, I guess that wouldn't really work for the dock. You can't build on 4 sides of a tile if one of those sides is already taken up by a minor faction village. So we would not be able to level up a dock there. I mean, it's fine. Whatever. There is an earth spine very close to the coast here. Chromatic land very close to the coast. There's some high-value tiles right up on the coast, and it is adjacent to the capital. This is maybe a place to consider settling. This is a Gelderus region, which is a little bit more interesting. Let's have a chat with these fellows real quick. Oh wait. Oh, we've talked to this village earlier. Well, you know, at this point we have plenty of resources. We could pacify them. This could also be our next settle. But it's important to remember that non-Kapaku factions can't get food from volcanic tiles. So a city built over here would have a very difficult time growing. All right, you're trying to catch up. All right, I don't think we need to manual this one. We no longer have like a fragile unit in the Navy that we're trying to protect.
Yeah.
So we can let the auto-resolver handle that. Because this city is producing 0 food until the settler is finished, I think we still don't want to pop our food booster. I'm going to wait until the settler is done and then do it, but we are close to taking advantage of that bonus. Really want to make sure we get in the water over here because that Gelderus army there would completely devour our mastermind. There's 2 pearls here. I guess we'll stop and grab them. I think we're about to see these red units clear out this eyeless one's village by force. Ah, and blue is the cult. These here are cultists of the eternal end. So that means blue is a single city. Blue is one of the single city factions. So okay. red is not going to be receiving any land competition pressure from them. And actually, look at this. We can see that these are 3 separate regions because you can see the borders. Mm-hmm. So we know that red has at least 3 cities at this point. We don't know what's going on with purple. Purple is either expanding away from us or purple's not expanding at all. And given the amount of time we've been able to see them, if they're not expanding, I would expect them to also be one of the 1 city factions. They could just be expanding like eastward or something. We really don't know how large this landmass is. I think I'm going to hop across here to this other river. We'll see what else is going on. Ooh, that's interesting. Steel stalks next to a coastline. You can see steel stalks are a very industry-heavy bonus tile, but also they have some bonus approval on them. But that is volcanic terrain. So we probably don't actually want to settle over there. I don't know. It might be worth it. You can always just, produce food with buildings or whatever. Do I want to fall back and merge? I kind of think I do. Yeah, let's merge up our navy. Stop losing so much money to logistics costs, and then we can run up here and check out the fortresses and the ruins and whatnot. Unfortunately, these are mostly naval-only units, and as such, we can't really just attack these Silics. But you know what? The Vors and the Bathysphere probably have this under control on their own. I am actually going to detach our leader. We're gonna engage in some shenanigans here. This hostile army running around our territory is making me a little nervous, and I would prefer that they not be there. So, if you get into a fight with someone near one of your armies, that army's units can show up as reinforcements. If you get into a fight with somebody close enough to one of your cities that the city is in the battle range, the city's garrison can come out and aid you in battle. The game does not expect that we will win this battle. I don't think that's a fair understanding of how things are going to go here. So a thing about Harmonites, they're very powerful, 56 attack, 54 damage. They're tough as hell. They're immune to disease. They have the ability to stun with their attacks. Formidable opponents, to be sure. They have 1 movement speed. So I'm going to park our hero on the city tile here, and we're just going to not let them hit us at all. Being parked in a friendly city tile gives you +3 morale.
Okay.
So that's why I did that. And I'm just going to have y'all kind of move nearby, but not actually into their movement range. They also, of course, have complete garbage initiative. You can see actually 0. All right. Please stop these fools from moving. So here's the thing about militia. Militia are not super powerful units. They're relatively competent. They're particularly good at fighting cavalry. All militia units have the Cavalry Slayer trait, which causes them to deal a lot of bonus damage to cavalry.
Okay.
But mostly what we're using them for is just to stand in the way and keep the enemies still. And they do a fine job at that. They also are free. They are totally free units. So if we lose our militia here in this battle, the city will just spontaneously generate more. We don't have to pay for that at all. It's a thing that happens automatically as long as the city is not in siege mode. As long as the city is not under siege.
Okay.
So it doesn't cost us anything to employ them in the battle here. So that's why I wanted to jump these guys while they were close to the city, because we get all of this free advantage. There we go. Get to knock them down without putting any of our real units' health at risk at all. And then Iraku can just catch up with the Navy, and yeah, we will still be in position to get stuff done up north. See, I am going to just go ahead and talk to this village. We may as well pacify them. Because even though there's no food growth available here, I might still want to settle. The thing about volcanic regions is they tend to be rich in strategic resources. We can see that the island has a glass steel deposit already, but I'd be pretty surprised if this didn't have higher level strategics that we can't see yet. And it has a wine deposit. And I sure do love wine as a luxury, so I am thinking that we might want to settle that. Plus, having an island that's like very close to the coast of a potential, a place where there might be a war in the not that distant future, as a staging ground, it definitely has value. All right, cool. Finding lots of dust in all of these ruins. Unfortunately, in order to afford a hero at this point in the game, actually, we're not that far off. We're not as far off as I thought we were. The costs of hiring heroes will slowly go up. It will continue to go up over the course of the game, but we're not that far off. If we could hire a governor, it would really be awfully nice. All right, so next turn, Forney completes its settler. And so the time has come. Wow, actually, there's a lot of... I didn't realize. There is quite a cluster of anomalies here. Yeah, geez, look at the resource payouts in this area.
Wowza.
Maybe this isn't even a coastal settle. Maybe this is a river settle, because you can see the river still gets bonus resources for us.
Okay.
Like if we put down right here, we get 2 river tiles, 2 anomaly tiles, including one that has bonus approval. And then the first time we expand, we pick up 2 more anomalies, and the second time we expand, we pick up another one on top of that. That's not bad, actually. As opposed to, like, what else? This is a volcanic region, which is kind of awkward. Yusta is totally inland. Yeah, I actually think Dells is probably the way. Unless we wanted to take the island immediately. It's an interesting question, I think.
Yeah.
Let's do some things that are not in question. We know we want y'all to sail north. I'm gonna have the hero just catch up with them. We could use the assign hero button to warp the hero over into this army, but I don't want to put it on cooldown because we might end up wanting to warp him down here to do quest stuff. Yep, we failed this quest for the Eyeless One's village because the village was destroyed. No big surprise there, exactly as we predicted. Now that this city has completed its settler, it doesn't have anything terribly important to build for the moment. We could build the glass, steel, or titanium extractors, but at the moment we're doing really well on incomes of those resources just off of our fortresses, and the fact that Magnur is actually founded on top of a titanium deposit.
Mm-hmm.
So I think what I might do is just build our altar. Yeah, let's do that. Let's lay down the altar. So, the Altar of Auriga is a building that is made of pearl. This is, you can see this costs 10 pearls to put down. This is why I wanted to make sure we got 10 pearls. Once you have constructed the altar, you can make prayers to the planet at the altar. It opens up the functionality of this screen. And this actually allows you to affect the way that future winters unfold. Because every successive winter, like the first winter of the game is always these effects. Every successive winter is going to gain some additional effect. The winters are going to get harsher and harsher as the game goes on. And if you have an altar, you can influence which kinds of effects get added. Hopefully things that, will affect your enemies more than yourself. You can also learn new kinds of winter-based technologies here at the altar. And all of that stuff costs pearls. So we got to keep an eye out for pearl income. Make sure that we are getting as many pearls as possible. I think what we're going to do for a lot of these decisions is hold them. We're just going to not make a call for the moment. Because we are at the hour. So, we have a settler. We have a place that we could potentially get some pacified villagers if we're willing to spend some dust on it. But we're also kind of close to being able to hire a hero, maybe, if some things go right. We have some ruin searches and stuff in our near future. So if we're not going to settle down here, we don't want to spend the dust. I'm going to think about all this. We're going to end the episode here.
Okay.
That's going to be it for us for today. Thank you all so much for watching. We're doing important expansion work in our 2 existing cities. We're about to put down a 3rd city, and we have to make a decision as to where exactly that's going to go. So come back next time when we'll have some kind of plan, I promise. And we'll see you then.
Baby, congratulations.
Yes, thank you. I did, in fact, make it to the end of episode 2. You know what the secret is?
What's that?
Just don't meet the other players.
Okay.
They can't declare war on you if they don't know you're there.
This is advice for games and for life. Just avoid other people as much as possible.
It's worked out great for me. Anyway, outro. We'll see you next time.